I want you to imagine, just for a second, that you are sitting in the cockpit of a state-of-the-art spaceship.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Right, so you've got all the latest artificial intelligence, hyperdrive thrusters, flashing digital dashboards. But the only way you actually know how to fly the thing is by reading this crumpled, dog-eared paper manual from, like, 1995.
Oh, man. Yeah, that is a complete mismatch. I mean, the technology is just light years ahead of the pilot's ability to actually comprehend it.
Exactly. And you're not going to get very far. You're probably going to crash into an asteroid.
Right.
And that exact scenario is what economists call the human capital bottleneck. Because, deploying all this advanced technology across the globe is effectively useless if the workforce isn't trained to actually use it.
Yeah, totally useless.
So, okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to our deep dive into the source material. Today, we're focusing on ATMC. They operate heavily across emerging markets, specifically in Africa and the Middle East, and they are making a massive push into edtech, so educational technology, to solve this exact bottleneck.
And we have a really fascinating stack of materials to guide us today. Our sources include ATMC's corporate strategy transcripts, their internal sales channel documentation, and these incredibly detailed system demonstration transcripts.
Which are super granular, by the way.
Oh, very. They basically walk through all of their educational software panels step by step.
So we are going to explore how ATMC is completely modernizing learning. And we're talking everything here, from upskilling massive corporate enterprises all the way down to managing traditional K-12 schools.
Yeah, it's a huge spectrum.
It really is. But before we even look at a traditional classroom, I want you to help me understand the macro strategy here. I mean, why does a massive IT services company like ATMC care so deeply about education?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, ATMC is deploying massive digital infrastructure across all these emerging markets.
Right.
We are talking fintech apps, health tech systems, logistics software, e-government portals, you name it.
That's a ton of infrastructure.
Exactly. But massive digitization instantly exposes a human capital crisis. I mean, you cannot just drop complex AI-driven logistics software into a regional supply chain and assume everyone suddenly knows how to read a predictive analytics dashboard.
Right. People aren't just born knowing how to do that.
No, not at all. So ATMC recognized pretty quickly that human intelligence has to scale at the exact same velocity as their artificial intelligence. Otherwise, well, their whole technological ecosystem just collapses.
So it's like building a high-speed digital highway, but realizing you also have to invent the driver's ed program so people don't immediately crash into the guardrails.
That is a really highly accurate way to look at it, actually.
Yeah.
And to invent that program, the sources show they are moving far, far away from those clunky, text-heavy academic portals we all probably remember from the early 2000s.
Oh, I remember them.
Right. The ones where you'd click a training link and it would just force you to download a dense 100-page PDF.
Oh, the absolute worst. Completely unengaging. And honestly, nobody ever actually read them.
Right, nobody read them. So ATMC realized that to actually retain user attention in a modern economy, they needed to build custom learning management systems, or LMS, that feel much more like modern media streaming services.
Interesting, like Netflix for corporate training.
Kind of, yeah. There's a great example in the corporate strategy transcripts about a regional bank.
Oh.
So this bank is rolling out a brand new, highly complex digital wealth management product. And they need to train 5,000 employees who are spread across hundreds of remote branch locations.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a logistical nightmare. I mean, in the past, what would that even look like?
Well, you'd have to organize massive physical seminars. You'd fly regional managers out to headquarters, put them up in hotels, distribute hundreds of physical manuals.
Which costs a fortune.
The financial cost is astronomical. But more importantly, you have almost zero way to verify that anyone actually absorbed the material when they went back to their branch.
Right. So how does ATMC's system actually solve that?
By deploying an LMS that pushes out modular, video-based microlearning directly to the mobile devices of all 5,000 employees.
So it's right on their phones.
Exactly. And the employees consume this content asynchronously. So maybe they watch a 3-minute module during their commute or, between client meetings.
Very bite-sized.
Yes. And then the system runs localized quizzes to test their comprehension and feeds real-time analytics right back to the central management team.
Wait, let me make sure I'm grasping this. So the central management team isn't just hoping the training worked. They can actively see it happening in real time.
They can see everything.
Yeah.
That real-time feedback completely eliminates the sort of wait-and-see risk of traditional corporate training.
Wow.
The bank knows instantly which specific branches are fully certified on new software and which ones are struggling and need targeted help. So they're upskilling massive groups of corporate adults completely seamlessly.
It's really about creating operational efficiency at just an incredible scale.
Absolutely.
But, giving a central office that kind of macro view over adult corporate employees is one thing. What happens when you take that same philosophy, that sweeping top-down digital oversight, and try to apply it to the messy human reality of a physical K-12 school or a university?
Well, that requires a different architecture entirely. For schools, ATMC does this through a massive centralized school ERP, which stands for Enterprise Resource Planning.
Got it.
And the heart of this system is what they call the super admin panel. The super admin is basically the God's eye view of the institution.
The ultimate control center.
Exactly. And what's unique here is that a single super admin can actually oversee multiple different branches or even entirely different schools on a subscription model.
Wait, so it essentially turns school management into a SaaS product, like software as a service.
Precisely. The sources actually outline tiers like free trial, silver, gold, and premium plans for managing these institutions.
That is wild.
And when you log into that super admin dashboard, you aren't just seeing a basic list of enrolled students. You are looking at incredibly specific metrics. There's a real-time income versus expense chart right next to an attendance versus percentage graph.
Oh, wow.
They've got top rankers, list by class, a school-wide gender ratio chart. They take the sprawling complexity of a school district and distill it into highly readable, actionable data.
I imagine that extends to the staff too, right? Not just the students.
It definitely does. The system manages staff in a highly granular way. Teachers and staff can apply for their leave completely digitally. But the sources note a very specific detail here.
What's that?
When staff apply for weekend or holiday leave, they have the ability to upload attachments as proof.
Proof of what?
Well, the transcripts explicitly mention uploading flight tickets or hotel bookings directly into the ERP.
Hold on. I have to push back a little here.
Sure.
Does having this level of top-down data where the super admin is tracking exactly who is on what flight for their weekend off, does that feel a bit like Big Brother for the teachers? Why does a school software need my personal flight itinerary? Isn't that overstepping?
Yeah, it's a really fascinating tension. From an administrative standpoint, a school is a highly complex logistical operation, right? If 3 of your key science teachers are on flights to another city, the super admin needs to know that with absolute certainty to arrange substitute coverage. By centralizing the proof, like the flight tickets and the hotel bookings, the system eliminates the ambiguity of lost physical paperwork or vague emails.
It enforces operational continuity.
Exactly.
I see what you mean about the logistics, but still, it fundamentally changes the relationship between the employer and the employee. Your personal weekend travel itinerary is permanently logged in the exact same database as the school's income and expense charts.
Yeah, it does make the employee's life entirely visible to the administration.
It just removes the boundary between the administrative office and the employee's personal planning.
It does.
Yeah.
But that level of visibility, that lack of friction, is exactly what ATMC is selling here. Frictionless, centralized control.
Okay, but a super admin with a macro view doesn't actually run the day-to-day operations.
Right.
The real friction in a school happens in the specific departments, like the accounting office or the library. So how does the system change the localized daily grind for those specific staff members?
By heavily compartmentalizing the data. ATMC doesn't overwhelm the librarian with the school's utility bills, and they don't bother the accountant with the library inventory.
Makes sense.
They create specific, targeted panels. So if we look at the accountant panel, for instance, it splits the school's finances into 2 clear buckets. You have office accounting and student accounting.
And office accounting would be your standard operational stuff, right? Rent, staff salaries, utility bills.
Yes, exactly. But student accounting is where the system directly interacts with the families. And it does so very proactively. The accountant can set up an automated fee reminder system.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it pings the students and, by extension, the parents, a specified number of days before a payment is due.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because looking at the sources, they show that the accountant panel also includes a fine setup section.
Yes, it does.
And obviously, you can generate automated fines for late tuition payments, which is standard. But the system specifically allows fines to be generated for student misconduct.
Yeah, and that feature represents a massive psychological shift. I mean, think about the traditional mechanism of school discipline.
Right.
If a student misbehaves, they get detention, or maybe a notice sent home in their backpack, or a parent-teacher conference is scheduled.
Exactly. It's usually a very interpersonal process. There's a conversation that happens.
But here, misconduct can be directly translated into a financial penalty, pushed automatically to the family's ledger. It literally digitizes and monetizes discipline.
Wow.
The parent simply receives an alert that they owe a specific fine due to a behavioral infraction.
That completely changes the dynamic between the parents, the student, and the school.
It really does.
The teacher doesn't have to mediate a complex behavioral discussion anymore. They just trigger a workflow, and the system handles the penalty.
Exactly. It removes the human friction from the disciplinary process entirely.
Yeah.
And, we see a similar drive for ultimate efficiency in the librarian panel, too.
How does that work?
Well, the underlying logic here isn't just about organizing books. It's about reclaiming human time. Librarians can add new books instantly just by entering the ISBN, and the system just pulls all the metadata.
Oh, that saves so much typing.
It tracks issue and expiry dates automatically, and students can process direct digital requests for new titles right from their own devices.
So they don't even need to walk up to a desk and fill out a paper form.
Right. So by automating those fee reminders in accounting and digitizing the entire cataloging process in the library, ATMC is removing hours and hours of manual data entry.
Yeah, freeing up a lot of time.
They're freeing the accountant and the librarian from being mere data entry clerks. It allows them to focus on their actual jobs like financial strategy and curating educational resources.
It's all about removing the friction. But, all this robust back-end infrastructure, the super admin tracking operations, the accountant automating fines, the librarian managing inventory, it ultimately serves one purpose, and that is the student's journey.
Absolutely.
So let's look at how the end users, mainly the parents and the students, actually experience this technology in their daily lives, because that's where the rubber meets the road.
This is definitely where the system becomes highly visible to the public. Let's start with the parent panel. It is really designed to be a comprehensive dashboard of a child's entire academic existence.
Okay.
What's fascinating here is how giving parents transparent real-time access to this data completely changes the dynamic of accountability in education.
How so? Like, what's different now?
Well, historically, a parent only knew what was happening at school if the teacher explicitly called them, or if the report card arrived in the mail every few months. The feedback loop was incredibly slow.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, the parent has real-time visibility into attendance, library fines, exam scores, and even whether specific homework was submitted on time.
And what if they have more than one kid at the school?
The panel features a multi-child selection tool, so parents can seamlessly toggle between individual dashboards for each of their kids.
Think about the mental load this lifts off a parent. I mean, instead of fishing crumpled permission slips or printed report cards out of the bottom of a backpack, you just open an app and see your kid's entire academic life.
Exactly. It's all right there.
The sources even detail a hostile supervision feature for parents whose children board at the school, and highly specific transport details so you can track the exact school bus route.
It's incredibly thorough.
It really brings the school's operational data directly into your living room.
It does. The accountability loop becomes basically instantaneous, and the student panel mirrors this exact level of integration.
What do the students see?
When a student logs in, they aren't just seeing a static bulletin board. They see a month-wise breakdown of their attendance. They have an integrated academic calendar and event planner. They can check their library status.
And crucially, the sources highlight that it supports live classrooms.
Yes, and the mechanism there is super important. The students can track their scheduled online sessions, and the Zoom links or other platform integrations are housed directly right inside the app.
Oh, that is so convenient. So there is no more hunting through messy email chains for a meeting link like 5 minutes before class starts.
Exactly. Everything is centralized. The student also has a direct messaging inbox to communicate with the admin and their teachers.
So it's a closed loop.
It creates a completely closed digital ecosystem. The student has everything they need: their books, their live lectures, their attendance records, and their direct line to the teacher in one unified digital space.
They never actually have to leave the ATMC platform to conduct their education.
Never.
It really is a massive paradigm shift. So To sort of wrap up our mission for this deep dive, ATMC's EdTech products are about far more than just replacing physical chalkboards with digital tablets.
Definitely.
Through these massive corporate LMS platforms training bank employees and these highly granular school ERPs managing everything from teacher flight tickets to automated behavioral fines, they are actively building the human infrastructure required to run a modern economy.
Yeah, they are essentially programming the organizational behavior of the next generation.
That's a good way to put it.
They are teaching students, parents, and workers how to exist within a highly optimized, fully digital ecosystem. I mean, if you grow up using a system where every sick day, every library book, and every late fee is instantly tracked and analyzed, well, you are perfectly primed to enter a modern corporate workforce that relies on that exact same style of data tracking.
Which leads us to a final, slightly provocative thought to leave you with today. We know from our deep dive that ATMC isn't just building EdTech. As you mentioned earlier, they are building the software for health tech, for logistics, and for fintech across all these emerging markets.
Yes, they are everywhere. And the sources indicate that they are building the exact same foundational APIs across all these sectors.
Right. And just to clarify for everyone listening, APIs are basically the software bridges that allow completely different apps and databases to talk to each other and share information.
Correct. So the underlying data structures ATMC uses to build a school dashboard are highly compatible with the data structures they use to build a banking app.
So give this some thought. What happens in 5 or 10 years when these systems inevitably interconnect? What happens when a student's educational record, including those automated financial fines we talked about for misconduct, seamlessly flows across that software bridge and interfaces with their future banking app's credit models?
Yeah, or ties directly into a national government identity portal.
Exactly.
It raises a really profound question about the future of digital identity. Is this interconnectivity the pinnacle of frictionless efficiency, where your verified educational credentials instantly unlock a microloan for your small business because the bank's software already trusts the school's software?
Or are we looking at the creation of a permanent digital ledger? A ledger that tracks every library fine, every sick day, and every minor disciplinary action from the time you were 7 years old. A ledger you can never actually escape.
It's the ultimate double-edged sword of perfectly tracking human capital.
And it is a reality we'll all be navigating very soon. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the source material. We invite you to keep questioning the technology that is actively shaping your world. And maybe keep a close eye on those paper manuals. You never know when you might need to fly the spaceship yourself.